Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another TikTok conspiracy theories video for you guys. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with TikTok. Clinically, it's kind of a problem, actually. I just scroll on there for hours. I love that shit. I really do. Like, I don't think there's anything... I was gonna say, I don't think there's anything I love more than TikTok. I guess that's kind of dramatic, but it's also kind of true. I like that there's so much to learn on there, you know? Like, I can go there for a recipe or a conspiracy theory. I think that's pretty fun. Sue me, all right? But you guys have been tagging me in so many different conspiracy theories on TikTok lately, so without further ado, let's get into the TikToks. So let's get the P. Diddy stuff out of the way. I feel like there's always updates on this case as we're going, and there's been a lot of theories on TikTok that I found to be pretty interesting. The first theory I want to talk about is all about the fourth theory. So a lot of TikTok users have pointed out that Jay-Z was born on December 4th of 1969, Diddy was born on November 4th of 1969, and Beyonce was born on September 4th of 1981. And obviously people have been really making the connection between everything that's going on with P. Diddy with the Carters, and people really think that Jay-Z and Beyonce were involved. And a lot of people, including Jaguar Wright, who has been the one who has been speaking out against P. Diddy for years at this point, has claimed that Sean Carter and Beyonce Knowles are actually worse than P. Diddy, and they are really in control of everything that's going on. Jay-Z also had an album called 444, which many people think is referencing the fact that him, Diddy, and Beyonce all were born on the 4th. TikTok has also been really blowing up about J. Cole's song She Knows, and a lot of people think that She Knows kind of sounds like Sean Knowles. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but Sean Knowles, obviously, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, and Sean Combs, P. Diddy, are named Sean, and then Knowles would be Beyonce Knowles. But in the song, he says, "Rest in peace to Aaliyah, rest in peace to Left Eye, Michael Jackson, I'll see you just as soon as I die." And all three of these people died on the 25th. Aaliyah died on August 25th of 2001, Left Eye died on April 25th of 2002, and Michael Jackson died on June 25th of 2009. I don't know if I believe that these are all connected, but I do think it is a very interesting theory. And I don't know, at this point, whenever there's something in Hollywood that is just such a coincidence, I don't really necessarily believe it, especially because, at least with Aaliyah and Michael Jackson, that we have talked about different theories of how Diddy and Jay-Z could be connected in general to their deaths. I haven't heard any theories about Left Eye other than that she's in this song and died on the 25th as well, but I'm sure people will come up with them and keep tagging me in them. But I do think that this is a really interesting theory overall, because I don't know, it really freaks me out that they were all born on the 4th. Yeah, it's a coincidence, but it's just weird. I don't know, something about it just makes me feel a bit icky. I don't know. And also, I guess just the fact that Jaguar Wright has been correct about so many things and is sounding the alarms about the Carters is kind of concerning. Like, I feel like we should probably listen to what she has to say. But you guys also have been tagging me in that TikTok of JoJo Siwa thanking Beyonce to save the dance community. Like, that is so funny. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, JoJo kind of ate with that, but... Anyway, the next theory that we're going to be talking about is also about Miss Beyonce, and this has been a theory that's been trending on TikTok for quite some time. So apparently there is a theory, well, it's not so much a theory, it's more just facts, but I guess why it is that it happens is the theory part. But it's basically the idea that anytime Beyonce goes on a world tour, someone really famous in the music industry dies. And this has been corroborated by facts. So Beyonce began her I Am Sasha Fierce world tour in March of 2009, and then Michael Jackson died in June of that year. When Beyonce announced her Miss Carter show world tour in 2012, Donna Summers died, and then when she actually began the tour, Whitney Houston died just before she began. In June of 2014, Jay-Z and Beyonce began their On the Run world tour together, and Bobby Womack died in June of 2014. And then in April of 2016, Formation World Tour began, and Prince died as well in April of 2016. Then in 2018, Beyonce and Jay-Z went on another tour together, and they began the tour in June of 2018, and in August of 2018, Aretha Franklin died. And most recently, in May of 2023, Beyonce began her Renaissance World Tour, and in the same month, in 2023, Tina Turner died. And what's pretty crazy about this is that there is so much footage of Beyonce paying tribute to like almost all of these artists, which is just kind of strange when you think about it. And it's been going on for such a long time that before Tina Turner even died in 2023, people were wondering who was going to be the next victim of this Beyonce tour curse. And I guess now with everything that's going on with P. Diddy, it's really starting to make people wonder how that all connects to Beyonce and Jay-Z and I guess the Illuminati overall. I don't know. I do think that it's interesting. I hate saying things are coincidences because I kind of low-key don't really believe in coincidences. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes if it's in my favor, I'll say that it's a coincidence, but when it's not, yeah, I don't really believe in coincidences for the most part. I don't know. The next theory that I've been tagged in a lot on TikTok has to do with how the Menendez brothers actually connect to P. Diddy. So this is an interesting theory, and when I found out about it, I don't know what to think about it basically, but everyone's been talking about the Menendez brothers a lot recently because of the Netflix show by Ryan Murphy, which a lot of people disliked, but what I will say is I do think that it might actually help get the Menendez brothers released. Like, I know Ryan Murphy, not cool to like lie and like make things up in his shows, and also even doing the shows themselves is kind of a controversial topic within itself. But I will say, without shadow of a doubt, it got people focused on this case, which is ultimately, I think, good for the Menendez brothers, because I think they 100,000% deserve a retrial. But nonetheless, people have been really talking about the Menendez brothers lately, and randomly they connect to P. Diddy in such a strange way. And it just shows you the type of people that Jose Menendez kept in his close-knit circle. So Eric and Lyle Menendez's father, Jose Menendez, actually worked with Clive Davis, who is the CEO of RCA Records and is also known to be the reason that P. Diddy is the monster that he is today. Clive Davis actively talks about how he was P. Diddy's mentor. Like, he created Diddy. He literally created Diddy, and people think, Jaguar Wright included, have claimed that he is the person who formed Diddy into the monster that he is today. And in fact, they believe that Clive Davis is worse. And a lot of people think that Clive Davis is like the top of the totem pole of this Illuminati dark crazy shit going on, but some people think that it goes even deeper than that, but who knows. I just think it's really fucking weird that the Menendez brothers happen to have a random connection to P. Diddy and this whole trial and Clive Davis. It's weird. Like, I guess again you could say it was coincidental, but I don't know. How many times are we gonna believe in coincidences? That's what I want to know. I just feel like weird shit, I believe it. I'm not going to say it's a coincidence. I think it might be real. All right, the next theory I saw these people talking about it on a podcast, and it sounds like a stupid theory, but I low-key kind of believed it, and I thought it was kind of fun. So basically, it's the conspiracy theory that gum, like when you see gum under a table at schools and stuff, whatever, those are actually microphones that are disguised as gum. And I know that sounds dumb. Like, I understand. But if you think about it, it kind of checks out. Because who the fuck is putting gum under the desk? Who's doing that? I've never seen someone do that. I've never done it myself. Who the fuck would do that? Who would do that? I don't know. It kind of checks out because, like, I do think that there probably are so much more hidden cameras and microphones than you would even imagine in places. Which is concerning and stressful, but I just try not to think about it because then I would have an existential crisis. But this theory kind of interested me. It piqued my interest. I'm not gonna lie, it might be a stupid theory, but I thought it was kind of funny and maybe true. All right, speaking of stupid theories, there's a conspiracy theory that Tom Cruise fucks fish. Just listen to the blind items.
Okay, so it seems like the whole internet is finally catching on to Tom Cruise allegedly doing strange things with raw fish. So let's read the blind items. There are two very long blind items that are allegedly about Tom Cruise doing some very weird things with fish. This first one is from December 13th of 2020. Hey, I've been reading your site a lot lately and my interest has been piqued by the blinds about a man and a fish. I have an interesting story for you. I've lived in Vancouver, BC since 1998. I'm a makeup artist and have worked on numerous television shows that have filmed here since 1999. You probably won't believe this since it's the classic friend of a friend of a friend story, but I figured I'd share it anyway. In the year 2000, I got work in the makeup department for a show. My supervisor was a woman with whom I formed a close friendship. Even years after the show ended, we would text and Facebook message one another almost every day. So in early 2011, she sent me the most hilarious and bizarre text about something her cousin supposedly witnessed. Her cousin, who passed in 2015 in a car crash, was a celeb chaser. I'm going to skip this next paragraph because it doesn't really have anything to do with the story, but you can read it if you want. She heard that this A-plus list mostly movie actor was filming at the Vancouver Convention Center. She lived really close by at the time, so she jumped in her car and was there in about 5 minutes. She was too late though and only caught a glimpse of him as he departed the scene, but she saw which car he got in and followed it for blocks until his driver pulled into the lot of the IGA on Robson. Apparently, the actor waited in the car and the driver got out and went into the store. There was somebody else who remained in the car with the actor, but she wasn't sure who it was, probably a bodyguard. Apparently, the actor looked anxious in the car. He was sort of bouncing up and down in his seat. The driver came back with only a white paper package in his hand, which he started unwrapping before he even got the door open. It was some sort of whole fish. Our actor rolled his window down just far enough to grab the fish, but she was unable to see what he did with it because the driver got in and quickly sped out of the parking lot. I thought my friend was totally bullshitting me, but the blinds I've been reading lately have really made me start to wonder if she was telling the truth. This second blind item is from December 8th of 2020 and reads, this tipster didn't identify if it was our actor or not, so this could just be some random person who has a thing for fish. Dear NT Lawyer, I am reading your website for 2 years. Excuse my English, please, as I am not a native speaker. I am living in the USA, California for 5 years now, but am from Beijing. Your blind item reminded me of what I saw in my Beijing supermarket many years ago. I worked at a fresh meat counter of BHG supermarket in Beijing, which was next to a fresh seafood counter. One day, maybe in 2013 or maybe 2014, I see a man go to the seafood fresh fish counter and order one fish. He had 2 black clothes men by his sides and had sunglasses over his eyes. He spent many minutes looking at the fish section and then ordered one complete fish called pompano. I did not see what he said to the fish counter staff worker, but I see him walking away from the fish counter with a fish not wrapped, but fish was raw, so I don't think he would eat it. At closing, my superior then says there is a pompano in the bathroom rubbish bin. I tell her what I saw, and the superior says she saw the same thing the day prior. Also, my peer who works the later shift informed me that the strange man returned to the supermarket in the evening and purchased pig trotters, pig feet. He put every package of pig feet in the shopping cart and then became more distressed when my friend said there were no more. What do you guys think?
What the hell is that, man? I mean, I've personally never trusted Tom Cruise as far as I could throw him. I don't like the guy. And I especially don't like Scientology, as you know. I've talked very badly about Scientology multiple times because Leah Remini is my bitch. That girl is my bitch. I love her. And she was raised in Scientology and has always spoken out against it. So I've always thought that Scientology, not so cool. However, this theory is a little crazy, in my opinion, because what the fuck does that mean if it's true? Why would he be willing to let people even know that? I don't care what NDA you sign, there's no way you would be able to waterboard that information out of me. That is insane. Gross. But honestly, crazier shit has happened. I don't think Tom Cruise is a real person. Like, he would. If anyone was fucking a fish, it would be him. Like, I don't... what do you want me to do? That's just the truth. Alright, the next theory I want to talk about is about aliens. This TikTok user points out that they saw an alien, and it really freaked me out.
So I'm just gonna come out and say, I saw an alien. I saw an alien. I saw an alien in Ypsilanti, Michigan in broad daylight in like March, maybe February. I had moved into a brand new apartment. I was sitting on the ground of the apartment in the living room, looking out the balcony towards a tree line that divided the apartment complex to a park. And I was getting ready to enjoy a nice herbal refreshment. And I opened the sliding glass so that I could blow out said herbal refreshment out the thing. And before you go like, oh, it's probably the herbal refreshment, I herbal refresh all the goddamn time. Okay, I'm from California. Like, I worked at a dispo. Like, this is just my everyday. Like, I literally am fine. Okay, this is before the herbal refreshment happened. Okay, so I just wanted to preface with that. So I look out the window. It's golden hour, and this thing starts floating down by the tree line, kind of like a bag in the wind, a dandelion seed in the wind, a jellyfish in the water. It was completely see-through. No arms, no eyes, no face, no mouth, no nose, no nothing. Just like a thing. Very similar to like a jellyfish setup, although it didn't have like little tentacles. See-through. It's probably as big as my arm, maybe like a hand longer than my arm, just kind of like floating down. And it had these lights, like these pulsating lights that went like this. Like, and they would change colors as it would like, very much like a casino, very much like something you'd see in a deep sea documentary. And so this happened to me. It just floated down very close to my balcony and like went underneath the balcony. And I was completely in shock. I was like, what the fuck am I? Just totally froze, didn't take a video. Yeah, once it floated down below the balcony, I was like, well, shit, like, where did it go? So I like kind of mustered up the courage to like go out onto the balcony and like poke my head over and be like, yo, like, where's that thing? Nothing there. And so I kind of just was like, what the fuck? I didn't tell anybody about it. Not my bestie, not my coworkers, nobody, okay? And so, like, I'd say, like, 4 months later, I'm in bed, having a nice day off, enjoying an herbal refreshment. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to watch a deep sea documentary. Like, because I fixate on biological things. I love the ocean. I'm like, you know what I love? That's, like, really weird and quirky. Let's watch, like, a deep sea documentary about the life of the sea. So I did that. As soon as I saw something see-through with no eyes, no face. As soon as I saw something in the documentary that was see-through with no eyes, no mouth, no legs, no arms, no face, that had like little pulsating, like colorful lights, I was like, oh my god. Like, I like remembered. It's not like I completely forgot. It was like I kind of just compartmentalized it and was like, I'm just not going to talk about that because I don't know what the fuck that thing was. And I was like, oh my god, like, I saw something. And it looks like deep sea creature. On that note, I thought about this and I was like, okay, if something could survive space, it's completely dark, okay? If something could survive space, it's full of a lot of pressure, right? Like, I think if you go out into space, like, by yourself, your head would, like, implode, maybe explode or something. There's, like, a lot of pressure. And I was like, damn. Like, that's crazy that, like, something that lives out in space, maybe it was a creature from the sea that could also traverse the air. Maybe it's not from the outside, it's just from the sea. I don't know. But I saw something. I'm just gonna say, I fucking saw something, okay? I saw something. I've seen a ship before. I've seen a couple different ships. Nothing super high quality definition like what I saw this last time in Ypsilanti, Michigan. But it was crazy because there's nobody outside. I was probably the only one looking out the window at that time, and I just want to come forward and fucking say something about it. Like, is there anybody else out there that has seen? Because when you see an alien like on TV or whatever, it's like a gray alien, maybe like a tall alien, maybe like a reptilian alien or whatever. Like, this was something I have never, ever, nothing I've ever seen before, okay? And I just want to know, like, is there anybody else out there that has seen a being that is see-through, like, you know, as big as my arm, like long. It was like a long thing, okay? Like, it had like a top and then like a middle part and then like a bottom, but there was like no legs and no tentacles. Like, it's the shape of it was so bizarre. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was more so like the composition of like color and see-throughness that I can like comprehend. Like, the shape of it was kind of, it was long. I need to know if somebody else has seen this, okay? I need to know if somebody else has seen this. I saw a painting of something recently that somebody said was what these angels or aliens should look like. And it was a very, very, very non-defined painting, impressionist painting, I suppose is the right word, of like this form. Like, it got the form right, but it didn't get like the detail of like all the blinking lights and stuff like that. And then I saw this girl post a picture of her painting of an angel that she knows that deals with like music or something. I forgot what she called what the angel was, but it was like the same shape, but it had all these eyes and shit all over it. And it had like all this rainbow color. And I was like, okay, that looks so much like what I saw, but it definitely didn't have like the typical like angel like eyes and wings and shit everywhere. So I just need to know. Anybody out there, have you seen what I've seen? What does it mean? Am I alone? Am I special? Am I not special? Was it just coinky dink? It was something. I know I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. I'm still kind of processing it, but I just know that when I saw this thing, I wasn't scared. I was like definitely frozen because I was like shocked, but I wasn't like afraid. But like, yeah, okay. That's my thing. That's what I've been wanting to say on TikTok for a while, but I've been scared because I don't want people to like come after me or something. I don't know. I just feel like I saw something that like nobody was supposed to see, so I just feel weird telling people about it. But bitch, I don't give a fuck. It's all gonna come out anyway at some point. I bet. Okay, so I've never done like this photo background thing, but it looked a lot like this, okay? Like, it wasn't the same shape, but this is like the vibe. Like, this is the motif. Like, I feel like there was nothing going on in the middle like that, but it was definitely see-through. And this is exactly what those lights looked like. They were like these little bands, and each moment was like a flicker of like the spectrum of like color, okay? Like, I saw something like that floating in fucking broad daylight at golden hour in Ypsilanti, Michigan, from my apartment that I used to live in. So that's the vibe right there, man. I don't know if like the classic gray alien thing is like a legit thing. Like, this might be what we're working with. But yeah, that's what I saw. So like, all my alien freaks, DM me, come at me. What have y'all seen?
I don't like alien related things because I truly think it is a bit stupid and small-minded to think that aliens are not real. Which I don't love that, because I don't really necessarily want them to be real, because I think they would be smarter than humans, because I don't think it's that hard to be smarter than humans. And two, I don't want to be abducted by one. Like, if you're listening to the aliens, if you're listening to, just abduct someone else, because I'm just gonna have a mental breakdown and it's not gonna be good for literally anyone around me. I don't love the idea of alien invasions and alien abductions, and honestly them just being real in general, and I really don't like the idea of the government knowing more about them than we do, which is like confirmed true. We know that the government is lying about a lot of stuff that has to do with aliens, and I just dislike that strongly. Why? I mean, like, I get why, because they don't want the public to freak out, but I'm gonna freak out anyway. And so with that, I say, just let us know what's going on so that we don't just get surprised by it, because I don't think that they can stop the aliens from doing whatever they want to do. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on aliens. I feel like we don't really talk about it that much, but that being said, I literally filmed a video earlier today and talked about aliens and that. But I don't feel like in general we talk about them enough. So, justice for the aliens. Let's talk about them more. All right, the next theory comes from a podcast that's talking about underground tunnels, and this man claiming that there are underground tunnels all throughout Los Angeles.
So your NDA is expired and you could talk about this. You used to work at a secret Starbucks, is that right?
Yeah, there is a Starbucks that is like above reserve, like a Starbucks no one's ever heard of or been to. All right. Have you ever wondered while driving in Los Angeles, how come you've never seen like Will Smith stuck in traffic on the 405?
Yeah.
I've never seen a 1%er just in their car stuck in traffic.
Why is that?
That's because there's a series of intricate tunnels underneath Los Angeles known as the Actor Bond. I'm not kidding. Like, they get access points to move through the city without ever having to be in traffic. You can come up in LAX. You can pop up at Dodger Stadium. Underneath there in those tunnels is Starbuckses set up at different locations to allow them to get coffees while they're driving. All
Who's
of
them?
that. Seinfeld.
You've seen
Oprah.
Seinfeld down there?
Bono. I've seen Seinfeld down there. Dude, almond milk latte, 2 shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he a good tipper?
They don't have to pay.
So this has been underneath Los Angeles for a few years now? I mean, how long has this been there for?
I mean, it predates me. It seems like the city was built on top of it. So, I mean, I think this goes all the way back to the 20s.
This doesn't seem real almost. This is crazy.
So I cannot tell for the life of me if this man is joking or not. You know, I am really gullible. It's like probably one of my worst traits is how gullible I am. I will believe anything that someone tells me. And I hate that about myself, but I also kind of like it. You know what? It's free-spirited, and that really gets you in believing in, you know, people say being Delulu is the Salulu. And I kind of believe that's true. But nonetheless, I don't know if I believe him, but let's just go on the idea that this man is telling the truth. So he claims he worked in Starbucks in these underground freaking tunnels that people of Los Angeles can use. And you know what? I believe that. Because I drive around Los Angeles every day and I feel like I go everywhere. And I will say I've never seen a celebrity driving in their car, except for JoJo Siwa, which I don't know if you would count that. I don't know if she would have access to the underground tunnels, but I do believe that this could be true because, yeah, like I don't know. People let me know as the amount of years that you've been living in LA, have you seen celebrities driving on the streets? I don't think I ever have, but I've seen celebrities in general, like in public places, but I've never seen them be driving. I know that there's like paparazzi footage of people driving, but like obviously they would have to come up out of the tunnels somewhere, so they would have to drive slightly. It's just so that they won't have to be stuck in traffic on like the freeways. I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird theory, but it's interesting to me, and I do believe that there could be underground tunnels, and I know that's a little bit tinfoil hat of me, but sometimes I do hear about these tunnel theories and I kind of believe them. Like this one about Disneyland having underground tunnels. That is apparently true. Like factual that there are tunnels under Disney. We know this. But there are theories that these tunnels are actually used to kidnap children. And that I also kind of think makes a lot of fucking sense. Although I will say that there's not really a lot of kids that like go missing at Disney. At least that I've heard of, but maybe they have a good way of covering that shit up. I don't know. I just want to, it's dark for sure, and I want to know the truth. Because I just wonder why Disney even has underground, I mean, I guess to get the characters through, but surely they could have come up with a different system. What's interesting to me as well is how the hell do they have that in Florida? Because I was told you can't have basements in Florida because of the limestone, and it would hit water as soon as you dig into it. I don't know. Sometimes I think I hear things that aren't true. Like, is Florida really held up by a coral reef? Because I was taught that my whole life, and I'm from Florida, so I don't know. All right, the next theory that I want to talk about is about Patrick Mahomes, and I saw this girl make a TikTok about this, and I just thought this was such a funny theory. And honestly, it just points out sports people to be so they're the way that they are so superstitious genuinely cracks me up. So there's a theory that Patrick Mahomes literally doesn't like his wife and would leave her if he wasn't so scared that it would ruin his life. So I guess a lot of people think that Brittany Mahomes is like really annoying or something, and people are like, how the fuck does Patrick Mahomes like her? But they're, I guess, high school sweethearts or something, so maybe they've just been together for so long. But this TikTok user points out that it's part of Patrick Mahomes' like pre-game ritual to give his wife a kiss like right before every single game. And so the theory goes that he's just so scared to divorce his wife because of that ritual that it will ruin his gameplay. And the thing is I believe that to be true. Like, I don't know if necessarily this specific instance is correct in the sense of I don't know if Patrick Mahomes doesn't like his wife, but I will say if he didn't, I believe he wouldn't leave her, because I believe if that's part of your ritual, they're genuinely so weird about their rituals in regards to sports. It cracks me the fuck up because I'm just like, why are you guys so superstitious? Like, chill. But I think this theory kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't really know much about Brittany Mahomes. I think she posted annoying stuff about Trump or something. I don't know what she does. I honestly only know of her because of Taylor Swift. So, same with Patrick. I never heard of him before. But the way that men are so dramatic about sports, like, genuinely cracks me up. I'm gonna put a curse on all of my haters' favorite sports teams. Like, that's so funny. Like, again, I feel like Patrick Mahomes would think it was a completely rational reason to stay in a relationship that he wasn't happy with because he was scared that his team would lose if he doesn't. Like, that's, to him, I think that's rational. And that's so fucking funny. Because, and a lot of people point out that with Tom Brady and Giselle, that was the case. He, like, immediately sucked after they broke up. And people think that's why. Where also people think that she put a spell on him, which, honestly, iconic if she did. Iconic if she did. I guess she's a witch, but who knows? Alright, the last TikTok theory that we're going to be talking about has to do with Ashton Kutcher and how one of his girlfriends died. And he seems to really kind of cover up those tracks a lot. Like, you don't really hear about this too much.
Did you know that Ashton Kutcher was supposed to go on a date with a girl the night she was murdered?
I'm sorry, what?
Back in February of 2001, a girl named Ashley Ellerin was brutally murdered in her apartment. Ashley was a girl that Ashton Kutcher had been seeing very casually. They had plans to go to a Grammys after party together. So Ashton calls her around like 8 p.m-ish and he's like, hey, I'm gonna come pick you up soon. Be ready. Then Ashton doesn't show up at her apartment until about an hour after he made that call.
Okay.
He gets to her apartment about 10 p.m. and he calls her and she's not answering. He knocks on the door, no answer at the door. He tries to open the door, can't get in, it's locked. Then he goes over to the window of her apartment and he sees a giant red stain on the ground. In his mind, he said, oh, like that must be a wine stain or that must be like a spill or something. Whatever, I'm getting ghosted, gonna cut my losses, moving on.
And he left?
He left.
Babe.
No, right? Okay. It gets freaking crazier. So then the next morning, Ashley's roommate comes home to find Ashley brutally murdered.
Not the brutal.
Ashley's roommate calls the police, reports the murder, obviously. Ashton Kutcher got wind of it, immediately called the police. And he was like, hey, my fingerprints are going to be all over the door and potentially her apartment. This is a girl I was hooking up with. I went to her house last night to pick her up. She didn't answer.
Was this to cover his tracks?
I don't know. So the police are like, okay, great. Thanks for letting us know. So they investigate the murder. Years later, they come to terms that it was a serial killer that had killed her. The serial killer was called the Hollywood Ripper. But here's where things get a little confusing. The investigators never found the Hollywood Ripper's DNA in the apartment. This serial killer actually happened to be Ashley Ellerin's neighbor. So they tied him to this murder.
Next door to this girl's house.
Yes.
It's interesting there were no fingerprints if they showed up at his other crime scenes.
Exactly. Ashton Kutcher even went to the trial and he testified. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but stay with me.
Okay.
Do you remember Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis's co-star on that 70s show, Danny Masterson?
Yeah, Yeah, I do know him. Wasn't he convicted of a rape charge?
Yes.
It's awful.
So Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis wrote these really heartfelt letters to the judge being like, Danny's an amazing person. He's a role model.
Stop.
Those letters ended up getting leaked to the public.
Yeah.
One of Danny Masterson's rape victims wrote on social media on her story, she posted, Dear Ashton, I know the secrets your role model keeps for you. Role model being Danny Masterson. Ones that would end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone the night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001, which is the night of Ashley Ellerin's murder.
You've got to be kidding.
I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. I think Ashton Kutcher may have been blackmailed by Danny Masterson because listen to this. He made a call to 2 people the night of the murder, Danny Masterson and his publicist.
So yeah, that's insane. Personally, insane. Like, I just don't understand how you would go to someone's house that you know you're supposed to go on a date with, and you see through their window that there is a red stain on the floor, and you don't think to call the cops that they're not answering the door, or like you just think they're ghosting you like that, and they happen to spill wine also. Like, that makes no fucking sense to me. I don't know if I necessarily think that Ashton Kutcher was involved in this, but also with everything with P. Diddy, it all roads lead back to P. Diddy. But with everything involved with him, the fact that him and Ashton Kutcher were really good friends, and also the fact that, you know, he was willing to defend Danny Masterson so easily. He's not really the guy that I feel like he tries to pretend to be online, which, I mean, is that shocking? Not necessarily. But I will say I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't have any other explanation for this theory other than that he had some sort of involvement. I understand that somebody was arrested for this, but it's weird that the person who was arrested there was no DNA evidence in this girl's apartment. The only other DNA evidence was of Ashton Kutcher. And I understand it's because they were hooking up and he was like seeing her at the time, but that is pretty fucking weird. Like, you have to admit, regardless, that's strange. And when you add into it the victim of Danny Masterson saying that apparently Ashton actually was involved with this murder, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking how things are going there. I used to really like Mila Kunis. I didn't really care about Ashton Kutcher. Like, he's there. But Mila Kunis is just... she's so beautiful. Like, actually perfect. But it's weird to me that both of them are so, like, vocal about trafficking and being against human trafficking, yet it's found out now that P. Diddy was quite literally trafficking children all of the time. And Ashton Kutcher was friends with him. I don't know. I will say it doesn't necessarily mean one thing or another just because of the P. Diddy stuff. But I will say it just adds a layer to it. And it's kind of strange that 2 of Ashton Kutcher's ex-girlfriends have died under really weird circumstances, because Brittany Murphy and Ashton Kutcher did date. They weren't dating at the time of her death. Obviously, Brittany Murphy was married to Simon Monjack, but at the same time, they did date in the past, and then she mysteriously died of pneumonia. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe it means nothing, but I just think it's really strange that he didn't report or call the cops or her friends anything when he saw a blood stain, which he didn't know was blood, but thought it was wine, but then thought this girl wasn't answering him like they were supposed to go on a date. That's weird. I just don't think there's any reason for him to have not reported it, so don't like that. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys like it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these TikTok theories. And again, tag me in any TikToks that you see that you want me to talk about, the conspiracy theories behind them. I would love to do them. I love these videos. I think they're really fun. But either way, that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week. And I will see you guys later. Bye.